What's good, my peeps? The Ruckus. I'm coming at you again with another action figure review, and this time you see what it is. We have completed, we've gone through all 7 figures for the Disney Plus wave. This is the Infinity Ultron Build-A-Figure wave, and we have gone through all 7 of the figures. And it's led to this moment here where we get to put together the Build-A-Figure, that being Infinity Ultron himself. The figures we've reviewed that led us to this point are, from our left to right, we've got Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. We've got Sharon Carter, Kate Bishop. We've got Moon Knight, who wasn't required to build Infinity Ultron. And bringing up the rear, we've got Mr. Knight. Yes, indeed. So let's get right to it. And but before we do that, let's go over this. Let's go through which figures had which pieces. As I stated already, Moon Knight didn't have any pieces. He wasn't required to build Ultron. However, Mr. Knight was. He had the right arm. Miss Marvel, she had the torso. She-Hulk had the left leg. Kate Bishop had the right leg. Hawkeye had the left arm, and Sharon Carter had the head as well as the 2 sections of the spear. So yep, that's what it took to build our Infinity Ultron. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, we've got the head. Set that to the side. We've got Ultron, and he has his cape. I can tell you right now that the cape, you see how the cape is attached there. So we'll start with the legs. Start with that left leg. Get that in there. Work it, work it, work it. And yep, it goes in nice. We'll do the right leg. Do the same thing with that. Work it, work it, work it. It's in there. So we've got that done. Next, the left arm. This is going to be something because this shoulder piece looks like it's going to get in the way. So you got to get up in there, and then, but that was pretty easy enough. It snapped in place. Happy about that. Let's repeat that same process on the right side, and yep, that went in nice and easy. And finally, the head. And I just knocked over our girl Sharon. See if we can get her back. There we go. She's back where she needs to be. And that's our Ultron. I'll set him down for now. See if I can get him to stand. It seems to me like one leg is longer than the other. So we'll figure that out in a minute. Raise that up some just so you can see all of Ultron. And we'll take the 2 pieces of his staff / spear and just port those into one another. And wow, that's pretty long there. There you have that. That's pretty long there. So get him in all his glory, I guess, so we can at least see what he looks like with his spear in hand. Spear's pretty heavy, by the way. I think I should put it in the other way. Doing this right here live and on camera, you all. Not editing this out at all. This is how we keep it real here. So, yep, there it is. Back that up some so you can get him all in. He's covering up Clint's face, but Clint isn't the focus right now. So, yep, that's our Infinity Ultron fully completed. So now let's look at him a little bit closer. So looking at our Infinity Ultron closer up, we see that he's molded in a nice metallic silver there, and the eyes is the slits, I should say, they're red paint. And if you look right there inside of Ultron's mouth, you can see that this head, Ultron head, is enveloping Vision's head. So you see Vision's lips in there. So yeah, so this is the amalgam of the Vision and Ultron. He actually succeeded in what he set out to do when he had Vision created. When he had Vision commissioned for creation. And then going down, you can see that he's got the Infinity Stones, which he has the Mind Stone, which was once the Vision's. Well, not in this universe anyway, but you see the Mind Stone is on his forehead, and he has the other stones. 4 of the other stones are laced across his upper chest there, and then he has the one stone right down here below, midsection. Got the nice gold paint apps right there around the neck / we'll call it collar area. And then he's got those same gold highlights on either side of his chest. He's got them on his forearms and on his hands. So that's pretty cool. He's got one gripping hand and one open hand. He's got more highlights on his, we'll call it his belt, really his midsection there. And of course there's some on his knees. And he even has that gold on his boots going to the back there. He's got gold trim on his cape, which is cool. Speaking of that cape, if I move this to the side, you'll see there's more of that gold trim at the bottom, but what I wanted to turn your attention to is what appears to be cell shading in there to give that that silhouette or shadowy look when you look at the cape. So that's pretty cool right there. There's nothing else going on in the back except more of the gold, and you saw I just removed the cape, and the cape is affixed by those 2 protrusions in his back right there, as well as that peg hole. So all one would have to do is line up the slits that are on the cape, get those in there like that, and then press the peg for the cape in there, and Ultron is he's now ready. We'll get a measurement of Ultron. Ultron is standing at right at 7 inches, and yes, I inspected further. His right leg is definitely longer than his left, so be aware of that. As far as his articulation goes, his head is on a ball hinge, so he can look up that much. He can look down that much. He doesn't give you much in the way of attitude. He can rotate 360. As far as the arms, this will be interesting. He can get them up. The shoulder pads will move out of the way, so that's cool. As far as rotation, that's another story. Those shoulder pads will impede. He can rotate his bicep. He's got double jointed pinless elbows. He's got a hinge for rotation at the wrist. He's got vertical hinge on his left hand. On his right hand, he also has the vertical hinge, and that's a grasper. And everything is repeated on that arm. As far as his abs are concerned, he's got a diaphragm. He's not going to go forward too much. 1, it's a diaphragm. 2, this centerpiece, which is an overlay of sorts, is going to impede. He can go back that much. Pull him back so you can see him in frame. He can go side to side somewhat, and he can rotate in 360. As far as his hips, he can get them out that far. He can raise his leg more or less 90 go back a little bit like that. He's got a thigh cut. He's got double jointed pinless knees. Pretty tight, nice. He can point his toe forward that far, point it up that much, and he does have ankle pivot, and you know what time it is. He does have holes, peg holes, at the bottom of his feet. Here's Ultron with his spear, and that spear is so long, it's just out of frame. I mean, not just out of frame, a lot of the spear is out of frame. And in an attempt to get most of it, I twisted the wrist, and you see how it points down. It's going to do that. The spear is pretty heavy, and that wrist is pretty loose, and it's uneven, so it's going to take some work to get it to balance, you know, because one end of the spear is longer than the other and heavier. It's wider and heavier, so it will take some doing to get it up. You'll probably have to use that second hand, that left hand, to help it along, kind of like what I did here. So you know, you just have to be creative. You can work it. And this is here to show you what happens when you combine a robot and an android and they have a baby. On our left we have the Ultron Build-A-Figure, and on our right we have the phasing vision from the Bro Thor wave. Here we have everyone in the What If series that face down Infinity Ultron in the finale. We've got right here up front on our left Captain Carter. Behind her we've got Strange Supreme. Then moving over to our right we have T'Challa Star-Lord, and of course hovering over we have got Uatu, the Watcher. So there we have it. Got the group shot, the entire wave, Disney Plus, Infinity Ultron. Yes, indeed. We went through them all, 1 through 7, and then we finalized it by building Infinity Ultron. What can be said about Ultron is he's definitely, now that I have him in the group shot amidst the other 7 figures, he's definitely undersized. From what I recall from the series, in the finale, when the characters were going up against him, they were coming up to no more than his midsection. You know, that's how tall he was. Now, it can be argued that after the acquisition of the Infinity Stones, he can change his size, and that would be true. However, we're talking about Ultron here, and if Ultron had an ego, if that's what we can call it, being a robot, an artificial being, then that would be Ultron for sure, and he would never lower himself to the stature of a mere human. So the only changes in size he would engage in would be going up, increasing in size. So Infinity Ultron is definitely undersized. He should have been at least, at minimum, the same size as the Ultron Build-A-Figure, which I showcased earlier in this video. But he isn't. This is what he is, and that means it is what it is. As far as what it is, besides the lack of height, pretty nice gold highlights and trim on the figure. The Infinity Stones are all painted beautifully, as well as the head sculpt with the red slits, and you can see the hint of the vision inside of the Ultron head, which is cool. The cape, very nice in terms of the gold banding down at the bottom, and even nicer was the inclusion of what I have to consider cell shading on the inside of the cape to give it that silhouette, that shadowy look. So that was really a nice touch by Hasbro. So that's all I can be said about the about Ultron. His spear is problematic at best in terms of him holding the spear. It's a two-piece spear that you connect up. One side is longer than the other. It's also molded, painted in silver, and it's got the indentations on the bigger side. It's got some, like, I'll call them like platinum paint apps, and there are circles that look like vents or ports on the bottom half that are also laced with that, we'll call it platinum paint. As far as the wave itself, rating the wave, we're not going to include Ultron. It's the Build-A-Figure, and as I've stated before, the Build-A-Figure should be the best figure in a wave. That's not always the case, but erring on the side of caution. That's how we're going to go with it. So just going with the 7 figures that came in the wave. Right in the bottom is Miss Marvel. She, for me, has always been a meh character. That's just my own, subjective viewpoint. Coming in next is Sharon Carter. And some people think that she was unnecessary, and that might be so. I don't actually agree. I think that because of what we discovered at the in the last episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that she's the power broker, and we don't know if that's just Sharon, being bitter and be going bad, or if she got replaced by a Skrull, or it could be both. At the time, Marvel/Disney could have had her going in the direction of just going bad, but now that we know that we're going to have Secret Invasion, and that she was a former SHIELD agent, and that show is going to star Nick Fury, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, I'm sure, I get the feeling that we're going to see Sharon Carter before that series is over, and she may very well have been replaced by a Skrull. I like Sharon Carter with this. I love the dual overlay, her hoodie and the green jacket. I think she should have come with an additional head that had her head inside the hoodie, just like the art on her packaging shows her head being covered up by the hood, but we didn't get that. So that is what it is. So that's Sharon Carter coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, it's going to have to go to Kate Bishop. I love the vibrancy of her costume. It was difficult to go Kate because she was in a toss-up between Kate and Mr. Knight. But I had to put Mr. Knight above Kate because he's just so smooth. Once Stephen Grant got the ability to change into his own avatar for Khonshu and pick the 3-piece suit, he was just, it's like he just gained a new aura of confidence about him. Even while he was fighting, if he had a brief moment to readjust his tie, he did so. So I thought he was just so smooth. So Mr. Knight is coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Clint Barton himself, Hawkeye. Once again, the purples and the blacks, they look real nice. They took great inspiration from how he is basically currently portrayed in the comics. So they took a lot of their cues from that. So that's pretty cool. Coming in at number 2, Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. She was the last figure I reviewed for this wave, and she came out looking nice. Her costume is spot on to what we saw in the latest episode of She-Hulk, and the head sculpt is definitely on point. So she comes in at number 2, and my number 1 goes to the guy who didn't need a Build-A-Figure piece, who didn't have one. We're talking about Mark Spector, Moon Knight. The detail, the costume just did it for me. There was no way he wasn't coming in first, so he did. He came in first. Now, if I was going to add Ultron into the mix, then Ultron would be my number. I'd put him at 3. He'd come in behind. It would be Mark, Moon Knight 1, She-Hulk 2, Ultron 3, and then everything else is the same. So that's how it goes down. How this goes down. I didn't say it at the beginning. I'll say it now. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Questions, concerns, critiques, put them in the comments below. I'm here for them. If you want to be notified for the next time I upload another video, smash that bell and notified you shall be. This has been the Hasbro Marvel Legends Disney Plus Infinity Ultron Build-A-Figure wave, talking about Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Kate Bishop, Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, Sharon Carter, and of course Infinity Ultron himself. On behalf of all of them, I am the Ruckus, leaving you with this. Remember, the hunt continues, and I'm out. Peace.